You're listening to a GWP weather update. It's Tuesday, March 31st, 2026, and in today's weather update, we're going to be showing you an update on the severe storms that we're going to be dealing with throughout this week, as well as the heavy rainfall that can be expected. So let's go ahead and start off by looking at the weather alerts here, national weather alerts that we have here across the country. We've got some ongoing severe storms this morning across Illinois. So that's our morning round of thunderstorms that we're dealing with. And so we've also got some thunderstorms here across the state of Missouri, but none of those are currently warned on at this point in time. And then we've got some winter alerts to the north. We've got some wind advisories out west, some flood alerts here across the state of New York. But again, at this point in time, we remain clear of any weather alerts here across the country. We do have some thunderstorms that have been rolling through this morning just to the north of the Lake of the Ozarks, as well as to the south of Sedalia here along US 65 towards the Harry S. Truman Reservoir. None of these have been severe at this point in time. A few other thunderstorms just to the north of Jefferson City, as well as over to Columbia, the majority of these staying to the south of Interstate 70. But again, at this point in time, none of these do have any warnings for us. We do have that severe weather threat mainly along US 54 and points to the north. And so that includes Nevada going up to Kansas City, as well as over to Osage Beach, as well as Sedalia, Clinton, and Jefferson City and Columbia, as we mentioned. So some thunderstorms will be out there. And we do have that marginal severe weather risk. That is a 1 out of 5 on that severe weather risk categories from the Storm Prediction Center. And so you'll notice here that area that has been highlighted by the Storm Prediction Center, showing the majority of us here in the state of Missouri. We're under that marginal risk, 1 out of 5. So it's a pretty low risk overall. We're mainly talking about winds and hail, not really going to be a tornado risk, at least here in the state of Missouri, that we're going to be dealing with. With the worst of that severe weather threat is going to be across the Great Lakes. And then we also have an area highlighted here across Texas and Oklahoma. But here in Missouri, we're looking at that marginal risk. Then as we go into tomorrow, we're also going to have a severe weather risk here with marginal risk with a few areas just to our west and that slight risk. So that's something we're going to be watching. Tornado threat is going to be with us for tomorrow. So we don't have a tornado threat for your Tuesday, but we do have a slight tornado risk on Wednesday, and some of those could be EF2s or stronger. And then wind is going to be a concern, as well as hail. We also have that hatched area in western Missouri. This area under that hatched risk for Wednesday for 2 inch or greater hail is going to be a possibility. And then we also have a severe threat across parts of Missouri as we go into your Thursday, as well as even into Friday. We do have a slight risk in the long range forecast for severe weather here across western Missouri, including Kansas City and just to the north of Nevada going into Friday. So severe weather risk just about each and every day, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. At this point in time, it looks like our biggest threat is going to be from tonight through Wednesday morning and then Friday afternoon and evening. That seems to be the time frame when we're going to have the worst of the threat. We're also going to be dealing with the flood threat going into your Wednesday. We have a slight risk for flooding here across the yellow area, including Kansas City and Nevada, and then Joplin over to Columbia and points in between is under that marginal flood risk. So this goes on a scale of 1 to 4. So we're in that 2 out of 4 category here in the yellow, and then a 1 out of 4 category here in the green. So we are going to be dealing with some heavy amounts of rainfall in addition to that severe weather threat. So that could lead to the risk of flooding. And then we don't have a risk for Thursday, as well as we also don't have a risk for today. So I forgot to mention that here. No risk for today, risk for Wednesday, no risk Thursday. But then on Friday, we once again are under that marginal flood risk with a few areas under that slight risk here across southwest Missouri. So we're dealing with the threat of severe thunderstorms, but also in addition to that, we're dealing with the threat of flash flooding across some of these areas, especially on Wednesday and Friday, where we're expecting the heaviest amounts of rainfall to fall. Now, before we leave here, I just want to leave you here with this, which is the forecasted future track of these thunderstorms. So again, we've got a few of those morning thunderstorms likely clearing out in the next couple of hours. That's not really a big deal, but our severe weather threat is going to be later this evening, starting around 7 or 8 o'clock, where thunderstorms are going to begin to develop. Again, most of these will be along and north of US 54, but a few of these could move towards the south closer to Interstate 44. So that's something we'll have to watch, but northern and central Missouri will get the bulk of the thunderstorms through 7, 8, 9, all the way into the early morning hours. And then another complex of thunderstorms will develop into the early morning hours on Wednesday. Here's 8 o'clock on Wednesday with some strong thunderstorms. And so, again, we do have that severe weather risk for today, but a little bit of a higher risk going into tomorrow. So that's something that we're going to have to watch. But again, on Wednesday, we're just going to be dealing with lots of rainfall here, as you'll notice that we'll get another round of thunderstorms late Wednesday night and into Thursday morning as well. All right, so again, severe weather risk over the next 4 days, with Wednesday and Friday, or I guess tonight, Wednesday and Friday, looking to be the days with the highest risk. That's it for today on this GWP weather update. Stay safe and have a great day.